Hey, this is Scott, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Snoppa M1 smartphone gimbal. There are lots of smartphone gimbals on the market today, but the Snoppa M1 has quite a unique design that really makes it stand out from the rest, and it caught my attention. So I asked Snoppa if I could check it out, and they sent me this over to test out, so thank you to them. I've had it for a couple weeks now, and I've been using it quite a bit, so I can talk about some of the pros and cons that I've noticed over that time. The first thing you'll notice is the design. It's quite a different design from a traditional gimbal, which has the arms that kind of stick out here to help balance the phone, but this has more of a counterweight system, which I'll show you later, but it lets it fold up into this more compact design, which is really nice because you can very easily bring it with you. You can throw it in a backpack, even in the outside pocket of a backpack, in a purse, or even in like a pocket of a hooded sweatshirt very easily. So I think that's something that's designed for a smartphone, which is meant to be convenient, should also be convenient in itself. If you're not going to bring it with you, then you're not going to use it. And taking video with your smartphone is usually because you have it with you and it's convenient to use. So I think this is a great match for that in that way. So flip up this phone holder at the top here and snap it into place. Pull out the handle and flip it down. And if you had a phone in here, you'll be ready to go. There are a couple of motors in here which will help to stabilize it together with that counterbalance system. As you can see, the handle will spin. So as long as you have this pulled all the way out, make sure you do have it pulled all the way out. This will help to stabilize this motion here. Whereas this motor here in this little joint will help to work together with the counterweight system, which is magnetized in the bottom here. You can adjust that if you need to. And this motor will work together to help stabilize this direction. Well, there's one last motor in the bottom of this phone clip here that will help to stabilize the panning motion. Because of this design, obviously you're going to hold this differently from a normal gimbal where usually you're holding it straight up and the arms will help to stabilize it. This one you'll hold it straight out and this design will stabilize it this way. In terms of actual performance, as far as I can tell, it stabilizes just as well as most other gimbals that I've used, whether they're larger or more expensive. So I think this has a very good performance for the money. There are a couple of downsides to it that I'll talk about in a little while, but for the most part, this is a very, very good performance for a very, very good price. You can use this with or without the Snoppa phone application. But I will have another video going more in depth to that application specifically, so if you want to see more about that, check that out. I'll put the link on screen and down below when it's ready. But basically, whether or not you're using the application, you're just going to put your phone into here and center it the best you can. If you're using the application, there is also a little on-screen guide that will show you kind of where the center of your screen is to help you out. But once you have that in there, you're just going to push this button down once, and when it's blinking, hold it down for a couple of more seconds, and then you'll feel it come to life basically. There is no joystick or buttons or anything on the handle of this, so if you want to adjust the angle or something, you're going to grab it with your hand and hold it for a couple of seconds, and it will hold that angle for you. So that's very, very intuitive and easy to do. I have it in the pan follow mode right now, but if you have it in the full lock mode, you can adjust the angle of the pan as well, just the same way. Just grab it and hold it. If you want to turn this into portrait orientation, just kind of angle it up a little bit and then grab it and turn it to the side, and then it will lock into place and you're ready to go in portrait orientation. If you want to go back, just do the same way, but backwards, put it back into the landscape mode. That's also very, very intuitive and easy to do. The same thing if you want to go into upside down mode, it's just grabbing it and moving it, but this is a little bit more tricky. It's not as intuitive. If you want to do that, you're not going to flip it completely 180 degrees upside down. You want to flip it so it's actually at a slight angle out until it holds its place, and then you can adjust the angle after that. So I'm sitting down now, so this is going to be a little bit awkward, but just to show you what I mean, if you flip it upside down, you're going to want it to be out at a slight angle for it to kind of take that position and hold it in place. And then from there, you can again manually adjust it if you want it to be straight up and down or something. But just remember, when you first flip it upside down, it's not a perfect 180 degree rotation. You will have to be out at a slight angle like this for it to hold it in that place. If you want to go back to the standard position, just flip it over again. Very, very intuitive and easy to use. If anything gets messed up, your angle or whatever, you can always just close it down, let it go into standby mode, and then open it again, and you're starting from zero. So it kind of resets everything. Also, if you mess up and like the handle flips around like that, it will automatically sense that error and go into standby mode so the motors don't get damaged. again, close it up, open it again, and you're ready to start. If you need to calibrate this at all, either the alignment, the horizon line, or if it's drifting or something like that, you can do that very easily through the Snoppa app, which again, I will go more in depth to in another video. So if you want to see that, then be sure to click on screen or down below to check out that video. So what are some of the negatives about this over some of the other choices in the market? One thing that I've noticed almost immediately was that, well, the grip is very easy to put your phone into and take out, and it does hold it in there very securely. There's a nice rubber grip on there. The actual grip in this direction is a little bit shallow, so if I have my phone with the phone case on there, it actually doesn't hold it in here, where something like the Zhiyun Smooth 3 actually does. The grip is a little bit deeper. It's no problem in this direction as far as the phone size goes, but the depth anyway. With a small case, this is not a huge case, but even with a small case, it does not fit into here. So you will have to take it out of your case every time. If you're using a larger like folding case that has a cover on it, you're gonna have to take it out anyway. So for a lot of people, it might not be that big of a deal. But if you do hope to use it with this kind of case, just know that it probably won't fit into here. As I mentioned, there is no joystick or any buttons on this handle at all. So if you do like using a joystick, then that's, I guess, a downside. But for me personally, I always found that the full follow mode or the pan follow mode got smoother movement, more natural movement anyway, and I tend personally to not really use the joystick that much, so it doesn't matter for me, and maybe it won't matter for you. But I would like to have a button on the actual handle where you can change modes from without having to adjust your grip. You can change modes by pushing this button in the center here, or if you're using the Snoppa app, you can change the modes from the app itself, which is intuitive and easy to do, but again, you have to take your hand off the grip to do that. Being able to close it down and hold it and make adjustments on the screen very quickly is, of course, kind of negates that issue, but I would like to have something on the grip, just a little single button where you can change the modes. I think that'd be a nice little improvement. This is a little plasticky. Sometimes you can hear a little bit of the plastic creaky noise, but considering it's plastic, this is very well built. It seems solid and reliable enough. I have seen some complaints online of parts breaking, but just be aware that those are mostly early production units, and you shouldn't have any problems if you buy one now. But if you do, for whatever reason, Snoppa as a company seems to be very aware of their customers' feedback and very helpful in terms of replacing your unit if anything does go wrong. So I think more important than the plastic build quality, having a good company to back the product is much more important, and Snoppa seems to be there behind this product. So on to more of the good points about this gimbal. I absolutely love the fact that you can just grab and close this and put it into standby mode. It seems like a kind of small little detail that might be insignificant, but it is really, really useful for when you're walking around between shots. You're on vacation or somewhere and you don't want to have to carry this really awkward thing with these arms sticking out. And this is just very natural to hold in your hand. And when you want to record again, just flip it open and you're good to go. It's very quick, very easy. And if you want to make adjustments on your phone or check things that you just recorded or change the settings through the Snoppa app or anything like that, it's just so quick, so intuitive, and you don't have to worry about anything damaging the motors or turning it on and off. It's a small detail, but I think this is a huge detail, especially, like I said, in terms of convenience. You're using your phone to record because it's convenient. So having something that is convenient to use and convenient to bring with you is also a huge, huge plus for this, in my opinion. In terms of actual stabilization, this works very, very well. I haven't had any problems with it, and it seemed to work just as well as any other gimbals on the market. I think you're really going to have to worry about your technique a lot more than the actual performance of the gimbal. Instead of worrying about, is this one good enough compared to another one in terms of performance, I think you really should spend that time focusing on your technique, your walking technique, and how you move your arms and everything. And I think that will have a much bigger impact on your footage than worrying about the performance of the actual gimbal itself. Because it performs perfectly well if you have good technique. Another plus that I did already mention is the form factor, and well, like this, it may not seem super, super compact. Once you get it all folded up, and you compare it to something like the Zhiyun Smooth 3, you can see that it is much shorter and it doesn't have these awkward arms at the top, which means that you'll be able to put it into your bag or your pocket or your pocketbook much, much easier. Compared to this. And this does have some extra features and a little bit of a better build quality, for example. But again, when you're recording with your smartphone, the name of the game is convenience, because it's something that you have with you, and that's why you're using it to record video. So something that you're more likely to have with you is a very, very big factor. I think more important than build quality and a couple of extra features. So there are some other things that this can do when used together with the Snoppa app. But again, I will go more in depth to all of those features in the video specifically about the application. So once more, if you want to watch that, click on screen or down below. I'll have the link when it's ready. Overall, I would definitely recommend this if you're looking for something compact and easy to bring with you that will get you a little bit nicer, smoother, more stabilized smartphone footage. My one complaint, and the only thing that may be a deal breaker for some people, to be honest with you, it's a small thing, is the fact that you have to take your phone out of the case to put it in here. Again, if you're using a larger case that you're going to have to take out anyway, it's not going to be an issue for you. It's going to be the same no matter what gimbal you use. But just be aware that even with a relatively thin case, it does not fit in here. So you will have to use the bare phone without a case or anything like that with the Snoppa M1. Otherwise, there's nothing really to complain about. But if you want to know more, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I will do my best to get back to you. If you like this video or found it helpful, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to see more in the future. And as always, thank you for watching.